So just a quick note for the for everyone while we work this out. Uh, Please stay on mute during the entire session to avoid any background noise. So at the end of the call, there will be a Q&A session, so you can ask your questions there, or you can just drop your question in the
Okay.
chat, and we can discuss it later.
Yeah, Jinesh and Anmol and the rest of our friends, can you just excuse me to let me rejoin? Maybe if I rejoin, okay. I'm just
Sure,
rejoining.
sure.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm back. Sorry for the same. I'm just trying to reshare and let me know like if you can see the screen. Is it fine now? Can you see?
Yes.
Thank you. And sorry, my apologies to keep you guys waiting. Okay. So thanks once again to Jinesh and Anmol for letting me speak today. My name is Subhashish Chakraborty. I am an MVP as you guys know, Microsoft's most valuable professional, and I'm a solution architect, and I'm working for PricewaterhouseCoopers (PwC). Right. I have over 18.5 years of experience. I work with various technologies simultaneously, like starting from Dynamics Finance and Operations, as well as little bit of Fabric and Azure AI services, and then Power Platform and Power BI. Though I'm not as Power BI as they are, true gurus of Power BI solutions. So apart from that, I write regularly on Microsoft communities. You could see a lot of blogs coming up, and a lot of LinkedIn as well as YouTube contents. I have a my channel, my own channel on link YouTube, so which I'm going to share with you. Just keep an eye on that same. Should you be interested? And I regularly bring forth on various new things that Microsoft releases. What voracious reader, I love to read books. Without reading books, any kind of books, be it technology or fiction, it seems like now I have not, my belly is half filled. So yeah, so that's pretty neat. I'm going to share with you about the Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations Copilot, which is, I'm sure, something very interested for all of you. And in the whole session, I've tried to bring forth to you what is Copilot in conjunction of finance and operation. You all know what is Copilot. Copilot switch. The Copilot switch itself is there on your laptop, on your computer keyboard, and Copilot is there everywhere. It's just not on Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint. If you are not sure how to write a formula on Excel, Copilot can help you out. You can also generate any kind of essays, paras, like if you're unsure of what to write, just giving it some tips like, hey, Copilot, can you please write this for me later to my manager where I want to, need some special permissions for travel to, California this summer. So you're not sure what to write, you can ask Copilot to draft that for you in its best possible suggestion. So Copilot is the bestest form of, I won't say bestest, it's one of the bestest forms of generative AI, a chat GPT based, utility, whereby you can ask it in your own language, just the way you talk to your friends, and Copilot can bring back to you its understanding, its suggestions, whatever it understands, and can help you a lot in a lot possible ways. So today's session is more of finance and operation related Copilot. As Jinesh was saying, maybe I won't be able to answer you right away, but at the end of the session, I would like to keep the floor open to let you come up with your questions. And yeah, and in the meantime, yeah, you can also write the question in the chat window. I will get back to you at the end of the session. So without much ado, let me forward with my presentation. So today's agenda is, Copilot, a short refresher, customizing the Copilot using agent entities, AI prompts, chat GPT, responding to user inputs in Copilot by translating responses from flows, user input validations in Copilot, a glimpse of adaptive cards in Copilot Studio. So the last one is, I will try to include if the time permits. It's an amazing feature of Copilot, whereby you can, you can just not ask Copilot, but also get responses from Copilot in flashy UI contents. Like you are going to get UI, user interface, forms, tables, charts, a lot of things, adaptive cards can do. It's a miraculous offering from Microsoft, which you can instigate, which you can invoke from Copilot. Your questions, but it can also carry out tasks. It can also carry out workflows. It can also summarize. It can also convert from one format to another format. If you're not sure of what to write as a formula on an Excel, that everything Copilot can do. Now Copilot is happening. Copilot is not future. Copilot is right now happening, and it's there, very much there in finance and operation. Along with it, it's also there in Business Central. It's also there in CE, as in customer engagement, and it's also there in Azure. So Copilot is right now happening, and it works just like a normal human being does. It can understand. It's so intuitive. It can understand. You can bring forth life into it. You can do a lot of alterations to the way the Copilot is answering to your questions. You can do that. So it's highly customizable as well. So these are the few key features and capabilities when you're talking about Copilot. Firstly, it's an AI powered assistance, that goes without saying. sidecar chat experience. So you'd see the sidecar chat experience in the sense like, you'd see the Copilot chat coming at the top, I mean, at the bottom right corner of your screen, and you can ask questions. It can keep on responding. So, like, as in you, as if like, in Gemini or other experiences, which are also very powerful experiences, where you need to go to some website and you can ask questions, it can respond. You don't need to do that. You can just ask Copilot directly in your browser itself. You don't need to go somewhere. You just ask the question directly here itself, and it will get the answer. Generative help and guidance. So generative help, it's, as you know, it's completely based out of ChatGPT, and ChatGPT can generate responses. So if you say, can you write a romantic poem for me, I'm going to give it to my boyfriend, it can do it for you. Okay, I want to write an essay for me, I want you to write an essay for me on globalization and inflate. Takes seconds to generate an awesome article, take it to the audience. So this is the generative AI capability of Copilot, which is also, we will see, it's also there. Flow history and summary. So for example, you have requested for an approval for your libs. It can also do that. It can show you, so okay, so this workflow has been raised on so and so date and so time, and this is now pending with your manager Harry. Once Harry basically accepts it, it's going to go to the next level, to the HR is basically, she is on leave today, and you will get a response by the day she joins back. All this summarization you can easily find out from workflow history. Enhanced user feedback. The user feedback is very, very essential. Like if Copilot is going to give you something nonsense, something which you're asking for, and it has responded back to you with something nonsense, certainly you can give a feedback, and you know what, like actually it will go to Copilot, back to Copilot's ChatGPT, and ChatGPT experts can fine tune their models to get back to you for a better responsive culture, responsive interaction. Chat with finance and operations data. This is what we are going to do today, and we are going to focus. Copilot allows users to directly interact with data within finance and operation apps, enabling them to ask questions and get answers in conversational way. Just the way you talk to your friend, you can ask Copilot, and Copilot can also help you out with the answers if it at all knows, or else it will say, I am not sure what you are saying, can you teach me? I will try to answer you better. Okay, now what? Now you know what, like it's a good old question that always has been lurking in human mind, like what if we can make the machine mimic our feelings? So it's very, very, very difficult question. I can make the machine to perform a very complex mathematical calculation, a statistical calculation, a probabilistic calculation, like if it's going to be raining on this Christmas, it can perform a calculation very easily. But if I ask the machine to feel like me, love, pain, sorrow, happiness, it's not possible for a machine to go through all these things. And there lies the gulf, the hairline fracture between machine world and the human world. So the human world is still at the vantage point of the consciousness. So you are world, you are having so much things. A monkey can also get angry. A monkey can also feel happy when you are giving it a banana. A dolphin can also make you happy by dancing round and round on a swimming pool. But can it have all the qualities that you are having on your mind, the ego, the grudge, the anger, the various kinds of complexes that you have in your mind? It's not possible to indulge all this thing, to inject all these things into a machine's programming algorithm. It's not possible. So there are several movies that has emerged on this topic, and you can I'm sure you have seen all of them, at least many of them. So agents are a replica, a ripple of what you have seen on such a movie which is called The Matrix, a worldly celebrated AI movie which shows like there is going to be a time in future when the man is going to start fighting with the machine, when machine would understand like if I can create myself, what's the need for having a creator, and machine will start terminating humans from this world, and consequently a war is going to start between man and machine. So you'd see the machines are basically keeping a kind of program called the matrix, whereby it is going to keep you as a human being trapped in its periphery, so that you don't understand what's exactly happening. So an agent, you'd see that agents are there, a lot of agents with black goggles and talking to each other in suits. So these agents are, when I talk about agent, every time that agent, the agents of Matrix always, pop up on my mind as a memory. So agents are Copilot agents are actually exactly doing the same thing when you are calling up an IVR. So when you're calling your ICICI bank or you're calling your HSBC bank and IVR, and automatically, a feminine voice is going to answer to you, asking you, telling you a lot of instructions, giving you like you press 1 for English, press 2 for Hindi, press 3 for so and so language, and then you are pressing 1 for English, and you're getting inside, you are going to get more and more menus, and you are getting responses, various kinds of responses. So an agent is typically doing the same thing. So Copilot agents are specialized AI tools within Dynamics 365 or Microsoft 365 Copilot that extends its capabilities by connecting to our organizational knowledge and data sources, automating business processes, and providing personalized assistance. Think of them as an apps for AI era that Copilot interface interacts with. So yeah, as I was saying, it's a kind of an agent that basically takes information, instructions, or inputs or outputs by and forth from your world to the machine world and comes back to you or goes into it. Okay. So agent is exactly doing that. We will see a lot of agent right away. So you'd see Copilot entities. Copilot entities are what, if you're coming from a programming background, you would understand Copilot entities are basically working as a data type. When I say int x equal to 5, it means what? X is a type of integer whose value is 5. So Copilot entity is doing the same. Like when I say, if the machine asks you, hey, what's your name? So you're saying my name is Mohammed, and this answer is basically extracted or stored in Copilot in the form of a response. This response is an user's response. So this user's response is nothing but an entity. If I say, if the machine asks you, where do you work? So you say, I work for, suppose I work for TCS, or I work for IBM, or I work for anywhere cognizant. So this extracted and be stored as a response known as an entity known as organization name. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So it automatically understands what is the answer. So if you say which country you are from, so your answer is I'm coming from India. So it will understand the whole response out of your whole answer. Only India is what it matters to the Copilot, not the entire response. I'm not talking about the entire response. I'm coming from India is the name of my country. No, India is the name of my country. It is understanding that. So it is extracting the value, extracting the information, the response from the user. Okay, so it's an amazing feature of Copilot which helps the user say something to the machine, and machine is understanding, apprehending, comprehending the answer and storing that and into a variable, or it's doing some further needful by calling an entity, a relevant entity. I will show you what I'm saying. Okay, and then I'm going to talk about the prompts, the prompt engineering, which is a basis of today's Copilot circuitry altogether. So prompts are, excellent tools by which you can tell the machine, like, hey, I need you to summarize a huge paragraph in 2 to 3 sentences. Okay, so it is going to do what? It's going to summarize in a very brief summarization and going to take you, give you back the response. You can see this summarization, this kind of prompts everywhere. You are opening your mail on your Outlook, you'd see a prompt that has come over there. Do you want Copilot to summarize the mail that came from your manager or came from your colleague or came from your client? You want me to summarize that? It's going to do that to you. So how it is going to do that? By making you some kind of a prompt. Somewhere some prompt is written whereby it is basically summarizing the answer, the response in, say, for example, it's if it is a suppose I'm asking a question like this. Okay, can you get me the response of, or rather, if I ask, like, can you get me the weather of Manhattan right now? What it is going to do is that it's calling the API for MSN weather. And when he's calling the API, it's a RESTful API, and the response is always going to come in JSON. So obviously it's doing what? It's basically parsing the JSON and taking you back with a humanly understandable response. So the weather at Manhattan right now is 5 degrees Celsius, and it's kind of going to rain soon, and always take a jacket with you just in case if you're stepping out of your house. So these things, basically, it is converting by rehearsing the response from an API, and you understand, like, it's a huge advancement from artificial intelligence perspective, whereby you can fine tune your prompts answer and make it as near to your expectation as possible. So I will show you how to create prompts, and I must say that Copilot altogether is just nothing without these prompts these days. Okay, so much of it's boring. It must be very boring to listen to all these things, whatever I'm telling you. Now it's time to come to some real demo. What I'm talking about so long, so that it will make much more meaning to you. With that, let me take you to the screen, another screen. Okay, can you see my screen right now? Can someone confirm that, guys? This is the main tool, the Emporium, the shop, the factory, which is responsible for making your Copilot be responsive to the user. So copilotstudio.microsoft.com, when you are actually asking for this, it's going to take you to this site by default, whereby you are going to select the agents from here. These are the agents. So my agent is Copilot for Finance and Operations app. So if I'm going to take you out, let me go here and let me reload the page. So it's going to take me to the Copilot Studio, which looks like this. And from here, you'd see here the agents. So agents as in, agents as in a lot of agents you will see. Let it get loaded. It takes a while. Now, don't worry. So you see, I can see only one agent. What is this? Why are other agents gone? So, okay. So by default, whenever you are buying a subscription, a tenant, it's going to come to a default subscription, a default environment. Where is this environment coming from? If you go to admin.powerplatform.com, you'd see the list of your environments that are available. Okay, so this is otherwise known as PPAC, Power Portal Admin Center. And when you are going to the Power Portal Admin Center's environments corner, you'd see the list of all the environments that are available. So I have this three instances. So I am going to focus on this instance, which I have created. This instance is basically a sandbox environment which I've created using a PowerShell script, and that PowerShell script created the environment which is, enabled with Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations URL on one hand, and on another hand, I have environment URL which is nothing but the CE instance, CE. So this is a connected and a managed instance, which are basically on one hand I have Dynamics, customer engagement, or on another hand I have finance and operations. Yeah. So I am going to focus on this environment. This is where I have installed Copilot. Okay, I have installed Copilot. So that is why if I come back to this Copilot Studio, I'm going to select from here the environment which I'm interested about. So I'm going to select this gentleman. That's it. It's going to take a while to load up all my agents. All my agents are here, right here on my agent section. So many, and voila, you would see you can create a new agent, you can modify existing agent if possible, because most of the agents are managed by Microsoft. You might not be able to change them, but don't worry, you can create your own agent, you can import an agent, you can modify an agent if that permission is there. Cool. So let's go one by one. So if I go to this instance, so sorry, if I go to this environment, and I've just created this environment and the Copilot, how should I install Copilot? First question that arises, how can I enable the Copilot? How can I make life to Copilot in my Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation? So let me open my Finance and Operation and let me close this gentleman. Okay, no worries. Let me open Finance and Operation here. So yeah, it's going to take a while. All right. So I am going to my resources. It's going to take a while to get loaded. So anyone who has not seen Finance and Operation, any friend, for him, this is how the Finance and Operations page, the default page, the landing page looks like. Okay, let it keep loading, and the Copilot eventually will show up here. So this is my Copilot, and if I click on this gentleman, this Copilot sidecar chat is going to come here. This is the one that I was talking about, the sidecar chat experience. Now, this I have installed. That is why the Copilot is visible now. When you are going to install this instance, an instance like this, the Copilot won't be available, won't come on its own. So what you need to do is that you need to go to resources, you open Dynamics 365 apps, you come to resources, and you go all the way down, and you need to ensure that these three gentlemen are installed, up and running. Otherwise, your Copilot won't be available. So you have to make these three gentlemen, these three friends be installed. Okay. And I'm sure you know how to install an application. Just in case if you're not sure, simply go ahead, install app. You could see a lot of apps out here which you can choose, and you can next, and it's going to let you install it. Okay. So I'm just canceling it because I don't need this performance analytics to be installed right now. So you need to install these three. But wait, there is a catch. If you are going to install it right away directly, you're going to get an error. So there is a prerequisites that is you need to install beforehand to ensure that your Copilot is going to get installed. Otherwise, if you simply install these three directly instead of installing the prerequisites, you are going to land up into an prerequisites. I'm telling you, if I go down, I would see something known as virtual entity. finance and operation virtual entity. You have to install it first one. That is what you have to install. So it's showing as update available, which means I need to update this, but not now because I am going to show lot of things right away. If I update, if I click on update available, what it will do is that it is going to take at least 2 hours, and by that time you will feel hungry and leave the show. Okay, so I am not going to update the instance right away, the application right away. Rather, instead, I would simply go to my Copilot for these 3 things you have to install. So once these are installed and configured and ready, you would be able to see this beautiful icon over there, which if you can click, it will get this window getting loaded up. All right, now let me take you to another screen, which is this screen. And if I go to my Copilot Studio, so Copilot Studio, you would see eventually if you are going to install those 3 apps, you would see Copilot for finance and operation, it will come. Otherwise, this agent won't show up. Install this agent. Now, so let's want to know like how to select environment home. Just remove everything and go to home, copilotstudio.microsoft.com. By the way, go to Copilot Studio. You can ask for a demo access for ISO. You can R&Ds your details for to as you go account. So this is how it goes. This is how it goes. But go for it. But go for it. Like if you are in trial version and you can keep working with it, so it's fine. So yeah, let me go to environment, which is, by the way, this is a different instance and this is a different instance. By instance means I meant basically a different subscription. Okay, so this is a different subscription and I'm going here and I'm selecting Addend, and I will like, because this is also having Copilot installed here. All right, so if I go to let me go here and let me launch the finance and operations directly. All right, give me my password. I think it's going to ask for a prompt on my communicator. 1 second. It's kind of slow. I don't know why. Go for my authenticator app, and I'm going to download my authenticator. I'm going to get an app here. All right, let it come. Yeah, it has come. I am just going to approve this, and this will, yeah, it's done. So it will take me to the home. Basically, you all are aware of these things because these are part of Microsoft sign-on activities. You know how this works. So I'm not giving you the details of this thing. So finance and operations are going to get loaded. Let it load. In the meanwhile, let me take you to my Copilot agents. So let me create an agent first of all. A small example, the power of a Copilot agent. So I'm creating a new agent and I'm saying, hey, let it get loaded. Okay, so if I ask Copilot something very silly, something very silly. Okay, hi. It's saying, what's your name? So I say, where do you work? I say, I work for PwC. No, let me give something stupid. Okay, let me give which doesn't make any sense. There is no such company in this whole universe. Forget about this world, in this universe which has such a stupid name like this. I'm entering, I'm pressing enter. It's again asking, where do you work? It's understanding that I have given a wrong answer. So again asking. So I'm saying, I work for, then it is accepting my answer and it's saying, nice meeting you, Subhashish, like that. Okay. So it's intelligent. But if I ask a question like this, can you tell me the color of the sky? Let's see what it says. It's taking thousands of years to answer. Uh, and finally it will come up and you see what it says. I'm sorry, I'm not sure how to help you with that. Can you try refreshing? What does it mean? It's understanding where I'm working, which organization I'm working. It's so much intuitive, but it doesn't even know what is the color of the sky. How is that possible? Like, is Copilot oxymoronic, self-contradictory? Absolutely not, guys. Absolutely not. So Copilot is this, where do you work? I work for PwC and all these things. Basically, I have taught it in my agent. I have taught it in my Copilot Studio agent. And this is why it was able to answer me. I am duplicating this and let me take you to the Copilot topic, which it is doing. By the way, what is a topic? I'm telling you what is a topic. Soon I'm going to tell you. Let it get loaded. Okay, not this one, my friend. Let me go back to Copilot Studio. Jinesh and Anmol, please pause me if I'm going very, very fast. Please pause me because I think it's new to all of you. So please pause me. Okay, so I'm going to agents. And inside agents, I'm going to Copilot for finance and operations. As you already know, it's an agent which is installed because of those three gentlemen whom I have installed. And here inside, you'd see a lot of things like overview, knowledge, tools, agents within an agent. Okay, this is an agent, but this agent is agent within an agent. You can create an agent inside an agent. Okay, and then the topics. So topics are the ultimate thing, which is what you need to play with the Copilot Studio. So say, for example, if I say like this, meet and greet. This is what I have created. You see, I have created some 12 days ago, whereby, and also it's saying as enabled, it's showing as enabled. If I click on this, let's see what happens. So it says, it is defining phrases like hi, hello, hey there. Whenever it is going to encounter questions like this or inputs like this, it understands like you are asking this topic to get triggered, to get activated. Okay. And in turn, it is going to ask, what's your name? And it is saving this as a person's name. Okay. Which is an identity. As I was saying, identity is nothing but an entity. So if I click on this gentleman, if I click on this guy, it will show you the list of all entities that are available. I will show you where is this coming from. This is signing up the conversation, saying that it's nice meeting you. Then the variable name, which I have stored as. How can you make your Copilot agent be responsive? All right, guys, let me show you something very, very interesting after this. I'm going to create an agent. So creating an agent is very simple. I did what, if you remember, like I just went to Copilot's agent, clicking on new agent. Just I'm hitting new agent. So this is going to open another Copilot or a wizard. Okay. So it's saying that I want to help you to build an agent so that you can give instruction what you need it to do. You can tell it, you can explain it, and it can do the task for you. So I'm saying I want the agent to create a traveling agency, a traveling agent, whereby if I ask it to get me the details of a site, I mean details of a flight from one city to another city. It can get me the fare details, it can give me the timing details, and it also can take me to the site where I can book it. So I am saying, I want you to create for me an agent that is capable of 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 fetching flight and hotel details. That's it. When I say that, it's saying name for your agent. You can give any name, or it's suggesting a travel assistant, or I'm saying no, keep the name as travel buddy. So it said it's going to say, okay, I'm going to accept this as a travel buddy. Now it should fetch flight and hotel details from various publicly. The agent is going to behave accordingly. The agent is going to say, like, don't you see that I told you repetitively, like, a typical I told you repetitively, like, a typical head hot person. The way that person behaves is going to behave with you accordingly. It's going to, you're setting the mood. What you would like publicly accessible website as knowledge sources. This step is additional. This step is optional, but this step is the most important step. So I said something like, okay, all right. Let me fetch the Yatra. Let me fetch the Yatra.com. Let's see, the site is this. Control C. I'm copying and pasting it here. And then let me also fetch from make my trip. And let's see the site's ID URL. I'm copying it and taking it here. And some more sites I'm giving, like, go IBBO. Okay, and let me grab the site URL. Just copying it, pasting it. That's it. Could be the possible knowledge resources. Okay, I made a typo here. Resources. Okay, so but don't worry, it understands that it's a typo and it's going to interpret what I meant actually. Okay, so do you have any more modifications to make to travel buddy? I am saying nope. I am done. So it's going to wind up the conversation. It's going to wind up the interaction, and it's going to yeah. What I will do is that I will simply skip to configure. Skip to configure means what? I can preview, like, the travel buddy is the name of the agent. I can also change the icon. I can also give a description, like, the travel buddy is this. Instructions are there. You can change the instructions by okay, always start by greeting as hola or adab or namaste, like that. Okay, if I let me be yeah, I'll start by greeting like with this. I'm not writing a single line of code anywhere. It is understanding. It's understanding and interpreting what I am saying. Now what I will do is that I will simply, and you see the knowledge sources, these 3 knowledge sources have been added. I'm just going to create. It's going to take a couple of moments to finish up the creation. It's very fast, and it's going to set up the agent creation. Okay. All right. and it's done. Let me, additionally, optionally, you can see here you can change your knowledge. Your knowledge is add knowledge. You can keep on adding knowledge here. By default, the knowledge are this, but apart from that, you can keep on adding knowledge. Point, you can add Azure AI search. You can add Dataverse here. I'm just canceling it. Tools are basically action items. Like I want to make the tool. I want to make my agent carry out some specific action, and you can define that out here in my tools. Triggers, agents, greeting is basically there are topics. If you click on topics, you can modify the topic like this. Greets should be always start with certain speech variation available, like that. It can work. Okay, so I'm saying, can you okay, by the way, if I click on this test, you see there is a test icon here. If you click on this icon, it will open this prompt, this page. So I'm saying, can you find tickets for me from Bangalore to Indore? Let's see what happens. So many details it's bringing up, guys. You see, it's an awesome. It's not just that it's saying that promotion code is this, coupon code is this. You can make use of this coupon code and can get good amount of discounts. As I instructed it, it's starting the conversation with as this. There are some options that for ticket flights from Bangalore to by Goa, IDBC, and all these things. You can simply click on this, and it was going to take you to a site whereby you see Indigo. Basically, it's coming up. You see, it's an awesome feature from kind of code. You can make your travel, you can make your assistant do any kind of exercise you want it to do. I'm just pausing here for 2 minutes and like to ask you, like, did you get this? Is there any question you want to ask me here? Please ask. Everything is clear till here, guys?
So, mandatory for building a chatbot.
I sorry, I lost you for. Can you come again, please?
Having a subscription is mandatory for building a chatbot.
Understood. Yeah. So no, actually, you uh, uh, subscription is mandatory for building a chatbot. Yes, you need to have a subscription bot like this. So yes, that's the answer. Let me take you back to Copilot. Yes. So Copilot is, as I was talking about the entities, where you could see the entities. The entities are available right here. So if I go to my agents, and inside my agent, and able to see my entities that actually I was talking about. In a long time. Anyways, we can just not this. Copilot can do a lot of other exercises. So for example, if I say, can you get me the summary of sales order? Okay, can you get me the purchase order for a vendor. And in the meantime, let me show you this entities list. So many entities are, by default entities. You see the zip code. Zip code are what? Zip codes can extract information from your answer. Zip codes are going to be extracted in the form of US format. So if you give a format as the way that US people have here in for the zip code, it can understand, it can extract that. You can extract weight. Suppose if you say my weight is 64 kgs, it can understand like the weight is 64. It's just going to take out the weight. Okay. And URL is also, it can also extract the URLs. It can also extract temperatures like that. It can keep on extracting. These are all out of box. These are all by default, entities which were there. I created certain entities myself, like item number, sales line, cust when group, consent. So these are all what I have created. So what is consent? Consent is a very easy example. So consent is what? Consent is, suppose if I say yes or if I say no, it is going to understand that what my answer is. If I say, do you want to add? Do you want to continue? If I say yes, so it understands that I am saying in a positive way. And if I say I'm not interested, or no way, or nah, like that, it will going to understand that you are saying no to it. I created this consent, this entity. How did I create it? It's very simple. If I go to add an entity, new entity, and it's saying clear, it's a closed list or a regular expression. What do you want to create? A closed list or a regular expression? So closed list are what? Are menu type. Suppose bad, ugly, bad, good, very good, poor. Okay, how your experience was so far. So you say very bad. So that's actually a closed list which you have to create. So I created a closed list for my consent. If I click on this, you would see. So these are okay, no, okay, and no. So what are the synonyms? Like if instead of okay, if I say fine or yes, or instead of no, if I said not required, no, not interested, like that, it's going to understand like you are talking about no. Okay, I created this. It's a very simple entity. I also created another entity known as, it's called a generic vendor code. What it is doing is that this is tricky, but it's easy also. So it's a regular expression. If you remember what I showed you, like if I click on add an entity, and here I'm selecting regular expression. Regular expression means what? It's following some kind of a pattern, some kind of a number sequence, some kind of a sequence. Then the regular expression is needed. So this is a sequence, cust when group. If I click on this, you see, I'm saying the whenever I say like, can you tell me the customer group? Whenever I say, can you tell me the vendor group? The answer comes. The vendor group is, then if whatever I say in 0 to 9, it could be anything 0 to 9, but of 2-digit length. 0 to 9, but should be of 2 characters long. 2 characters long. It could be any number between 0 to 9, but should be 2-digit number. Okay, like 40, 30, 50, 60, like that. So that is how actually I have created this. Okay, so if I come to I don't know what has happened. Let me reload this. Allow me a moment to reload, to let me rejoin the conversation. One moment, guys. I mean, I'm unsharing and sharing my screen once again. Okay, so I think there is another question from Mohammed, who's saying like how to practice and create chatbot based on this session. Very good, Mohammed. I could see is that you go straight to make I mean copilotstudio.microsoft.com. Copilotstudio. Let me type it out here right away. Copilotstudio.microsoft.com. Okay, and I'm giving it here. And you can create your own login with your account, and you can sign up for it. So for example, it's going to give you a trial period of 60 days time, whereby you can do your all exercises, various kinds of R&Ds within this period of time. After that, you can, yeah, it's going to ask you like, do you want to continue? So if you say yes, then it's going to change that into a, you know, pay and use session, which is kind of expensive. But yes, like you can start with a trial experience like this. All right, guys, let me reshare my screen. Okay. Right. So let me go back to my finance and operation. And if I say, can you tell me, okay, if I say inventory visibility, sorry, can you tell me the inventory availability for an item? So this is what I have. My God, what is this? Inventory visibility. Okay, so this has not got cleared. Let me clear this session once again. So if any point of time you see your previous things are not cleared, previous questions are again they're asking, you can just reload the page. Or else you can just in this topic. So for example, in this topic, end all topics. I did even I have called this end all topics like hello, how can I help you today, and all these things. When after that also this topic didn't get ended. That's why it's asking me the same question. So I did what, I just refreshed the screen, as because of which it got reloaded. So if I say inventory availability, it's asking me which item ID do you want to check. So I want to check items availability for a particular warehouse and location. So if I say an item like legal entity, so you know, in finance and operations, we call a company as a legal entity. A company like this USMF, so many companies are there. You know, USMF is a company. Uh, so these are all the companies. So if I say I am talking about USMF, I mean this company. I'm giving the site ID as 1, and I'm giving our location ID as, you know what are site ID and location ID? Site ID is basically, say for example, I say for our site is Delhi and for location as Dwarka, which means site is essentially a bigger whole and a particular warehouse, a go down stock is maintained. So Dwarka go down, or you know, Dhaulakua go down, like that. I can tell the location IDs. So the sites and location in in a very layman's language, it looks like this. It's a combination of a parent and the children inside. So I'm just hitting enter, and let's see what it brings back to me. It is collecting, it's calling an API, which is known as the inventory availability API. So it's calling the inventory availability API. It's saying that it's empty. There is no such response it found. Okay, so let me ask the question again. Inventory availability. You see, this is the small issues that still are there with Copilot, because these are all still happening. This is all still, improvising. You can work on it. You can improvise your Copilot to take care of when to end a session, when to continue a session, like that. So I can also give you more examples on this. So let this page get loaded. Let me show you some more examples of the Copilot. Say, for example, if I go to vendors, so for example, I go to the Microsoft Copilot Studio and launching a Copilot agent like this. Me on board vendor, whereby I am asking a topic which is responsible for creating a vendor for me. So here inside my vendors are located. If you go to Copilot, if you go to finance and operations, accounts payable, inside that all my vendors are located. If I come here and let me create it from Copilot Studio itself. So I have already kept my prompt ready. So very prompts are like, vendor, can you create a vendor with this, these are the details. So I'm saying, can you add a prompt like this with a name as group as 30, currency code USD, and legal entity USMF. So if I hit enter, it is going to create the vendor for me with this name and with this code. I will show you how I have created this. It's very simple, but it's little tricky. The vendor creation was successful. We will add contact information to the vendor. So the address of the vendor. So what I will do is that I will select yes or no. So I say yes. Please provide the address, city, postal code, and details. So what I will do is that I will simply get hold of this address and hit enter. How do you want to describe this address? I describe this as a home office. Let's see what happens. Address updated successfully. Do you want to add more addresses? If I say yes, this cycle would repeat. So here I say yes, I am going to add more addresses. So I'd say what, I'm adding some more address to it, like this. Okay, or rather, let me take an address like this, and I'm going to change some more stuffs. I'm changing certain things like 90 East 95th Street, New York City, like that. I'm giving, and let's see what happens. Describe the address. I'm going to give the office address. So first one was a home office, and this is my office address, my actual office. So it is going to create it's going to append the address to it. Do you want to add more address? I said no. It's going to wind up the conversation here. Thanks for letting me serve you. Okay, so let's see what happens here. If I go up, and if I take this vendor and see if this vendor has been created at all or not. So what I will do is that I will just refresh my screen. So here is a small icon which can help you refresh the screen asynchronously. And vendor account is this. So vendor account John Doe got created, and just not that, you would see it's very beautiful, something very beautiful. You go all the way down. You see there are two addresses that has got created. One is home and another is office. And you know what? Like the most interesting thing is that they've stripped out the address part. Okay, let me click on this. You'd be able to see it more precisely. It has stripped out the office, the purpose, forget about it, the purpose, You see the country, it's stripped out, the postal code, it's stripped out, the street, it's stripped out, the city, it's stripped out. It's an awesome experience. Like I did not write any line of code. It just made use of prompt engineering to do this. I will show you how this has been done, and so that you can also take it on your end to do this. Okay, I'm just canceling and coming out. Okay, if I go back to the topic, so when I say, can you help me onboard a vendor, it's saying like this tool can help you queries like I have created this topic called create vendor through NLP. I've created a topic like this. So inside this topic, I'm creating the vendor code. Please help me with the vendor code and all these things. This is asking you, please help me with the vendor code. So if you select on this, if you answer this, it is storing the entire response as a user response. Okay, user response. I'm giving this input and it is storing the entire response as an user response. Now the trick part comes. So here, basically, I am calling a prompt. What is a prompt? So if I click on this view model details, it will show you the prompt that I created for this. Very simple prompt which accepts the user's input and converts it into a JSON. Allow it some moments of time. Okay, guys. So in the other instance, let me try with the inventory availability query once again. Okay. By the way, this is the prompt which I created, and in the prompt I'm saying, can you create a JSON from the user input? Like this is the user input. If I click on this, you see, can you create a vendor with this name as this, group as this, like that? And the JSON should look like this. I'm specifying the JSON's structure, the JSON schema right here itself. Not JSON schema, sorry. I'm saying specifying the JSON structure here itself. And I'm also saying remove everything else, single quotes and JSON keyword from the response. And if I say test, it will show you the response, whatever response it's going to come up with based on the input that you are giving in your variable, in this variable. Okay, so this is the response it should look like this. Why did I write this line? So if I remove this line and if I say test, it will bring up a lot of unnecessary wordings to your response, which is what you don't need. Based on your user input, this is blah blah blah. If you don't need it, which is not needed. I need to keep this more precise and peculiar. So if I click on this test, it will remove everything else and make it right to the point, cut to cut. Okay, so imagine this. I am calling this prompt from somewhere else. I'm calling this prompt from my Copilot. I'm calling this from my Power Apps. So it can convert any user input to any desired output, any desired outcome. That's what exactly I have done. I'm just confirming. Like I don't want to save anything. I'm coming out of it, and you know what? Like it's converting this, pressing this value. It's converting the value. I'm parsing this value as a variable known as customer JSON record. Okay, so here out of this, I'm saying that vendor code, vendor name, the legal entity, all these things I am sending across to a flow. I am sure you guys know what is a flow. So if I click on flow, this is the structure of the flow. It should look like. So let me take you to the flow here. So these are my flows. Generate vendor, generate create vendor from Copilot agent. So I'm calling this guy, create vendor from Copilot agent. I'm calling this, and inside this you would see the structure of the flow. It's a very simple flow. What is it doing is that it's grabbing the inputs from the user. So I've passed on what vendor code, vendor name, legal entity, currency code, vendor group, like that. I'm passing all these details, and it is obtaining an Azure Active Directory token, which is all you need to create to access finance and operations. I think you know what is a token, a bearer token is all about. I'm creating a Microsoft Online token from this, And in the next step, I'm passing this token like this. You see, like this, I'm passing this token and calling the finance and operations endpoint vendor v2, and I'm passing the necessary components like legal entity, vendor code, vendor group ID, and all these things. I'm passing on to create the vendor record. So this is why this vendor record has got created. This vendor record, John Doe, this got created out of this, and I'm then coming back to the agent. I'm passing the response back to the agent. So that's it. Then I'm doing what? I'm calling my next step. The vendor got created successfully. If I say yes, the vendor creation would get succeeded. Would you like to add more information? So I say yes or no. So if you remember the consent, I created a topic called, I created an entity called consent, whereby it asks for yes or no. So if I say yes, that's what it came. You remember, that's what it came. Yes. I said yes. It is basically created the, yes. If it is yes, I'm given a condition like if it is yes, then it should be able to create the address. So for that address, what I did was that I am creating another topic. So I am redirecting it to another topic. It's just exactly like the way it happens when one IVR agent, suppose you are talking to IVR agent like to ask for your balances, your bank balances. So it said like your balance is so and so and so. So then anything else that I want to help you with, I can help you with. You said, no, I want to ask for a loan, a home loan. Okay, for that, I am transferring the call to another agent. Would you be okay with that? You said yes. Exactly. I'm transferring the, I'm transferring the topic to another agent called add vendor address. So if you click on this, it's very simple. Clapping here. Please provide address, city, streets, and all these details I'm getting. And how would you like to describe the address? I said it's a home address or an office address. Again, I'm calling a prompt, which is converting the input that you have given here as 18 East 95th Street. Like that, it's converting this into a JSON response. And this JSON response, it's flowing into my finance and operations, another flow. Which is this flow? This flow is generate vendor address. If I click on this, it's going to create the address of the vendor. In the same way, you see, in the same way, I'm basically grabbing hold of the street, city, postal code, all these things. I'm grabbing the party account, street, city, postal code, and all these things. And then I am calling an Active Directory token once again, and then finally passing on into my customer address. So this is my OData entity for my customer address. So this is how you can call it. And if the user wants to add more and more address, because one vendor, one customer, one employee can have more than one address, and this is how you can do you want to add more address to it? So you am saying yes or no once again. If the user says yes, it is once again going to call itself. That is the add vendor address, going to call itself once again. So this is how you can recursively call an agent from one topic to another. Okay, so this is one example. I understand I'm going very fast, but never mind, guys. Like if you have you need any clarity, you can always reach out to me. So if I ask inventory availability, which item you want to check? I say item number this. Which legal entity you want to check? I'm checking for the legal entity USMF, and site ID is, and location ID is 13. Let's see what happens now. So ideally, what happens is it is going to call an IV API, inventory visibility API, which answers it in form of a JSON. So this is exactly it's doing. It's converting the JSON response into a generative response. I mean, it generates a response and it uses a common man's understandable response. So you see the organization site is this, there's this, quantities are for arrived equal to 0, available ordered is this, ordered is this, physical event is this, like this, all this details is coming up. How is it doing is that if I quickly take you to the topics, and inside this topics, I've created one topic like, okay, let me take you to my agent, which is Copilot for Finance and Operation. I created a very small topic here. which is known as inventory query. Topics. Topics is here. Topics. Let me close this. And if I go down, 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 there is a IV query, one topic called IV query. Okay, it's not there. Query. IV query prompt. Yeah. So I created this. It's a very simple. Like can you check inventory availability? So these are the triggering phrases. These are the triggering phrases that is going to call this topic. It's asking like item ID, which item ID you want to check. It's storing that in a variable. Legal entity, it's storing that in a variable. Site ID, location ID, all these things are storing as variables. And finally, it's calling a flow. This flow is doing what? It is grabbing the IV query API's response and converting that into a JSON response. And that JSON response is basically getting converted into users understandable response by making use of a prompt. So I'm going to taking you to the prompt which I designed for this. Let me take you to the nick.powerapps.com. So inside that, in my prompts, if I come down to the prompts here. So in a word, Copilot is so big that you cannot cover everything, complete everything in 2 hours time. It needs a whole lot of discussion. So many things are still happening. So many things are still going on. Microsoft is improvising, improving, and inculcating a lot of features. And please feel free to reach out to me if you need more. I am an Copilot enthusiast. I would be more than happy to help you. Let this get loaded, and I'm in the interest of time, I'm just keeping the door open for questions. Please ask me questions, guys. No questions? So just before I wind up, I can just show you how you can create a prompt. So prompts, I showed you one example. There are more examples I can show. If I go to prompts, inside these prompts, there are so many prompts here. So out of box templates are this: summarize text, extract information from text, classify text, like that. It can also do a lot of sentiment analysis. It can respond to a complaint. It can detect a language even. Okay, so I have parse IV query result. So this is what actually I was talking about. It is getting the response variable here, which I was saying that I was basically getting the variable, the response from an IV query API. So the IV query API looks like this. So this response I'm getting from the IV query, and this response, same response I'm calling from, I'm passing this from the flow of my Copilot and getting the results, details of the response. So if I test this, you see it's some GPT 4.1 mini. You can change the model to 4.0 or anything of your choice, but 4.1 mini is what Microsoft is by default suggesting. So your test results should look like this. So this is exactly what I'm getting in our GPT response, in our Copilot response, like this. Okay, so now I did what? I am calling this query prompt from my topic, which I am getting and displaying in my response in my Copilot. So that's a very simple example. There are so many other examples whereby you can create more and more such responses, and you can bring up to speed of anything you want to create of your choice. So that's not all, guys. It's just the beginning. And if you're really interested, please let Anmol or Jinesh know. I can take a more in-depth session on the same. And you can also in person connect with me. These are my handlers, social handlers, and this is the YouTube channel which you please feel free to subscribe. I keep talking about all these things every now and then, so that you can also understand what's actually happening around. And please stay in touch and ask me. Handing it over to Jinesh and
Thank you so much, Subhashish. Anmol?
yes, right, right. It won't work here. So Krishna, you have to make use of a corporate account, like your official account or your school account, like that. So there is a plan B for this. What we generally do is that we sign up. Yes, yes, absolutely, absolutely. College account, actually, if it is related to some college or organization, that can also help. Okay, it's not working too. No, no problem. So there is one more thing which I can share with Anmol and Jinesh, that is creating a sign up account. So sign up account is what I will tell you. Give me a second. Sign up. 1 second. Let me bring it up. Sign up for trial
Subhashish,
version.
can an on Microsoft account help them? Would that work?
Yes, it need an on Microsoft account. But just in case if you
Okay.
don't have, there is a plan B. That's what I'm sharing. One moment. Yes, I am just got this. I'm just sharing it with you guys. I'm keeping it in my chat box. Okay, so you go for this, guys. What will help you? What it can help you is that it can help you to create a dummy trial version, a dummy trial instance of your Copilot, of your Power Apps, of your Dataverse, of your finance and operations. So many things it can create, and you can make use of Copilot Studio. Just it's going to charge 2 rupees from your card. Don't worry, it's safe, absolutely safe. You use this. I use this every now and then. Okay, so you can use this. Just 2 rupees it's going to charge you, and then after a month's time, if you are not interested, you can discontinue it, and it's going to get dormant, and subsequently it will get away from you. So the best way to start is by doing this. You start with this, and if you sign up, it's a next, it's a wizard. If you click on next, it will keep on happening till the next last step. It is going to take at least